Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning for our informational session about the Mentoring LGBTQ plus Youth Ally Sites training cohort. I am Renee Angelo Mock. I'm the Program Outreach and Support Manager for the Maryland side of Mentor Maryland, DC. And today we are going to talk about this extremely exclusive and unique opportunity just for all of you out here in Maryland and DC. So if you don't know me, I am your support system for all of you youth development people across Maryland and DC, and I am happy to be here for you. And I am really excited that this opportunity has been offered to us all. I'll talk a little bit more about how that came to be. But if you're less familiar with Mentor Maryland and DC, I'll talk a little bit more about that. So this is a bit more about who we are. We are the local affiliate of the National Mentoring Partnership, who brought this opportunity to us. So we are grateful for that. So the National Mentoring Partnership are the national leaders of the mentoring movement. They do tons of research and national advocacy to uplift mentoring and to make it part of the national conversation when we talk about youth and what youth need and how it contributes to positive youth outcomes. So we are one of about 25 or so local affiliates to aim to do that locally. So we do that across Maryland, and we officially expanded into DC last year. So as you're here locally, we aim to do that by increasing the quality and quantity of mentoring relationships across the state and close the mentoring gap. So we do that by hosting professional development. You've probably or hopefully I've seen some of you on our trainings and the like. We aim to ensure that you have everything you need and all types of resources that you need to do your best possible work. So we do that in all kinds of ways. And if you're unfamiliar, please, schedule a meeting with me and we can talk more about that. But this is creating opportunities like this is one of the ways that we do that. So, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So this opportunity, and I should have created another slide for this, but this opportunity, actually, I'm going to drop the brochure for it in the chat right now. This opportunity was made aware to me by our friends at Mentor National, and it was an opportunity that all affiliates had the opportunity to apply to, and I wanted to apply to it. In light of Pride Month, I wanted to me, this felt like a gap in for our LGBT youth across Maryland and DC. And the reality is that the LGBTQ population are a population that without intentional efforts can be left behind. And what we found per recent research with the Surgeon General's Youth Mental Health document that came out last year and recent research from the CDC that was released in the past year is that our youth, and particularly our LGBTQ youth, are really suffering, and that without intentional efforts to support them, that they will continue to suffer. And we already know that without intentional efforts, that they are at higher risks for negative youth outcomes. So if you are aware, and some of you I know were there as well, I hosted some trainings in June about the LGBTQ supplement, which is the supplement to the elements of effective practice for mentoring. And I wanted to get the conversation started with you all, our programs across Maryland and DC, about how we can serve these youth better within our existing programs, because these youth exist across programming, and it's not necessarily that about just creating specific programming for specific youth but making sure that these youth are welcome into our existing programs and that they feel safer and welcome wherever they go. So I wanted to get that conversation started here. When I saw this opportunity, I wanted to hopefully ensure that it would be offered to us and to you all. So Maryland and DC were selected for the opportunity based on the application that I had submitted on all of your behalf. So I submitted the application, but I'm not a program. This is really for you all. I'll be going through it with you all as your support system, as your liaison. and to, to receive the knowledge as well, and to coach you all through it. But, I'm not the experts. I'll be, receiving the information with the experts with you, but this opportunity is really for you all. And what that opportunity looks like is, yes. So this is a virtual opportunity, and really it is going to be a true step-by-step about how we do that intentional creation of safer and more affirming mentoring youth development services for those LGBTQ students, youth who are in our care. Whether we know whether those youth are in our program or not, whether we think we're capturing them or not, the reality is, they are out there in our populations, whether we are aware of it or not, whether they know that that's part of their identity or not. That's another kind of aspect of this is that the research says that when a young person is in a place where they do feel more safe, or when they're in a place that kind of follows these practices, that they will come to know their identity more quickly and to share it with a caring adult. So when we follow these these guidelines that are in that LGBTQ supplement, which is a part of this opportunity, learning about that supplement in depth from these experts, that young people will be able to do that processing of their identity, which is really important and wonderful. And we already know that youth identities are so dynamic because they're growing, and this is, an aspect of their identity that they can process when they're in a safe and affirming place, which we hope that we will be able to offer them. So again, this is an online opportunity. And again, this completion of these course requirements, you will have access to, you will have continuing access of these resources, of the research that we'll be going through, of templates. We'll be in this, we'll have an online community space with each other, with our facilitators, where you guys will be able to be in continued discussion and be able to be in discussion as news and things change, because we know that, unfortunately, the identities of people is being challenged by politicians and the like. So that is even why this work is even more important now, and why we need to stand up and stand on the side of kids. So I'll talk a little bit about this last paragraph on the left, which is ripped straight from that brochure I just sent, about what it means to be a certified practicing allyship site. And this is something as well that will be identifiable on the mentoring connector. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're in the mentoring connector as well. But just a little bit about that, this little blurb on the right of the slide here. But what we know is that, mentoring, everyone here on this call believes in mentoring, and obviously I do too. So we know that mentoring can hold a lot of power. And so particularly for our LGBTQ youth, it holds a lot of potential to disrupt the potential hardship that unfortunately could be in the kind of trajectories for LGBTQ youth. So mentoring has the potential to disrupt it. And again, without that intentional effort, then we're just leaving them to fare on their own. And that's not fair. So this is that invitation to do the work, but to do it together. And I'm excited to be able to do it with you and support it with you. So the core of this work is 3 sessions, which will be taking place this summer. And these sessions are outlined here. So, and we'll talk about the dates for those sessions. So all these sessions are 2 hours. So this first session, an awareness session. So really about kind of that, this is what I was, if you came to my June sessions, I was like, we're not going to go over this because these are really space for expertise, and it can take a lot of time. And a lot of this is it's a specific kind of space to create. And a lot of it involves internal learning as well. So this is that awareness session. So learning things like terminology, about the diversity of what LGBTQ means, because that's really not just one community, it's many communities. That empathy building, learning about the diverse experiences under that kind of LGBTQ umbrella. The second session talking about practicing allyship. So really understanding the difference, not the difference, understanding what we really mean by the word ally and the difference between the word ally as a noun versus a verb. And again, the experiences of LGBT youth, how to address bias in hurtful language, and how we respond to those things when they happen, should they happen potentially in our programs moving forward, because those things happen. And again, if we're going to be intentional about it, we need to be prepared for those things. And then that third session, creating an affirming program. So doing that deep dive into that element of effective practice, which if you came to our June sessions, we did some kind of light touches into that. But one of the facilitators of these sessions was one of the writers of the supplement of Elements of Effective Practice. So we're getting right to the source there, which is like such an honor. He is awesome, Christian, really great guy, and really exciting that he will be one of the facilitators of this entire cohort. So again, this is truly step by step taking you through what it takes to really be an affirming program. So those are the sessions, so the real time blocks that you're committing for your program. So besides those sessions, you will also be getting individual support. So in addition to those sessions, you'll also be doing, so kind of like your homework, you'll be doing an assessment for your program or for your organization. So really to see, where is your program at, and what kind of level of inclusivity are you at per the supplement, and per what the research, what the research is saying, and what the supplement kind of outlines, and where we want to go. So, and if you saw in one of my emails, this is the third cohort. So there's been previous cohorts, and the programs that have been through it have been at various levels. And in your application to be a part of the cohort, that is not the assessment. There's no judgment about where you're starting from, because being a part of the cohort is your commitment to being a part of the cohort. That is commitment enough. And that assessment is just that invitation to start wherever you're going to start and to get as far as you can get. So in the last cohort, which was in Minnesota, as you can see in this image, there was a program who had attempted to design itself based entirely on the LGBT supplement. It was an entirely queer program versus a program who was really truly integrated in a very faith-based community, and a board that did not want to acknowledge that there could possibly be a queer young people in the program. And by the end of the cohort, they were ready to make a statement and be a part of Pride Month and the like. So there's a lot of growth to be had, and the assessment isn't a tool to judge you and to be against you, etc. It's just to start a baseline, to get ready to do the work and make that improvement plan and the like, and to create that starting point and create that work plan. So you get to do an assessment, and you'll again get some coaching sessions from our experts, so Dr. Christian and Mia Clark. And again, from those assessments or with that coaching, get those actionable steps to work through those results. So we'll do our three group sessions. You'll do your assessment, you'll get your coaching sessions, and then we'll be in this kind of online community moving forward for a longer period of time. Again, not with any further specific calendar meetings, but checking in with some regularity online to see how everyone's doing, and then kind of coming together again at the end with our badge of commitment to see where everyone is, and to kind of get this sort of certification of again, we want to call it a certification. We don't even want to say that we're practicing allyship and that we're this badge of commitment, because the work doesn't end, and that this is ongoing work. We're committing to continuing to practice allyship to our LGBTQ students. So this is again, this is a badge of commitment. This is a commitment to practice allyship. So this isn't, while the time commitment is in like what's going to be in your calendar is shorter, of course. This, as we know, being committed to including and affirming LGBTQ youth is of course a long-term commitment. It's like, of course, being committed to being anti-racist and the like. It's a longer term commitment. So that's just how we like to frame it. So if you're applying, know that this could be, depending on where you're coming from, some organizational shifts, some you're committing to, being vulnerable in this process, you're committing to potentially, uncomfortable conversations and the like. But of course, that is often what comes up when we do this kind of work. What I want to reassure you is that our facilitators are amazing, like the best in the business, the people who, did the research and wrote the document could not be better. And that also I will be here and, working with you alongside, and that I'll be your most available resource throughout the entire process, because I'm always here. 9 to 5, 365, 24/7, 365, not 24/7, 365, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, 52, 365. So, I'll be here to support you in the long run. And again, I am very excited that this was offered to us, and I'm hoping you are too, and that's why you're here. So I'm going to transition us now into questions, and yeah, I will open up to questions. So for all enough group, we can just come off mute. Hannah?
Hi, I had a question. My organization has a few different aspects to it.
Yes.
And so mentoring is only one component. So I'm kind of the only person who does mentoring in our organization. Would we still be a fit for a program like this, given that I'm kind of the only one who could really actionably put these steps into play? It couldn't be so much program and organization wide.
Yeah, I think submit your application. And I want to say yes. So we were talking about this too. I was talking with the group, the facilitators and the like last week when we were opening the application process. And yes, we want to be inclusive of not just straight one-to-one and the like mentoring, and because we know that mentoring is included as aspects of other youth development type organizations. So yes, I want to say yes. Submit your application. Let me also put the application link in the chat while we are here and talking. It's in the brochure, the link to apply. But yes, if mentoring is a part of your organization in any aspects and in any form. So of course, mentoring takes many forms as well: one-to-one, group, online mentoring, group mentoring, peer mentoring. Yes, please consider yourself free to apply. And if you're truly not a good fit, then your application would be screened out. Yeah, thanks, Anna. Any other questions? Or like, there's plenty of time for questions. So questions?
Will this be available yearly, or this is just a one-time opportunity?
So I cannot promise that this will be available to us again yearly. The hope is to expand this opportunity. So the funding as it stands now is why the opportunity is so limited. It is limited regionally, but they are looking to expand the funding, and because it's been such a success so far in the past cohorts, and we're looking for expanding success, they're looking to gain more funding. And I know they just met with like the Human Rights Campaign and etc. That is the hope, to be able to expand it. But the reason that they're doing regional cohorts is because they can't promise this kind of expansion, and like, because they can't promise that it will be continually offered. Yeah. So for now, no, I cannot promise it. So time is kind of the essence. Oh, I didn't, so in the brochures when the dates are, so the first session, actually, I see a calendar, I can say it. For the three session dates, it's July 28th, August 4th, and August 18th. And those sessions will be 2 to 4 p.m. And up to 3 people from your organization are welcome to come to each session. But if you really can't make it, I mean, I'm going to give that feedback as well, but like, people want to do it. If you really can't make it this time around, but this is something you're absolutely interested in, send me a private message and I'm going to be like, people want to do it though. Like, I'm going to give that feedback back that like, there's still continued interest. But like, people this time around didn't work. They also know that summer is hard, which I'm hoping isn't stopping people from applying. I want to make this work so badly for you guys. But yeah. Questions? Thanks, Hannah. And for anybody who is going to apply, like literally apply ASAP today. If you have minutes, this application is not difficult, I promise. Get it, because we are, again, like the first session, we're trying to get started in 2 weeks. Yeah, just send it in. We're ready to start screening. And for those who, you know, if your application's good to go, you know, we'll get you in ASAP. Questions, clarifying questions, anything I can answer for y'all? Okay, so if there are no more questions, does everyone have the brochure that I dropped in the chat and the link to apply? Give me a thumbs up or a 1. I'm gonna drop, okay, thumbs up. I'm gonna drop the brochure one more time. There's that. And I'm gonna drop the link to apply one more time. And thank you so much. And please share this with, I mean, literally anybody, like any of your colleagues, whoever, or other organizations you know of, no matter the size. Again, if mentoring is any aspect of their program, any of the youth development programs you're familiar with across Maryland and DC, wherever they are, because this is a virtual opportunity, let them know to, you know, throw their hat in the game and to apply ASAP. The application is simple. We want to get started soon. Well, we will be getting started soon, but you know, the senior application's in. We're going to start screening as applications start rolling in. So we are excited to get this work started with you. I'm going to drop my email in the chat. Yes. Well, so actually, I dropped it as a file. Mary, did it show up? If it didn't, then I'll just email it to you, Mary.
Yeah, if you don't mind just emailing it to me. I don't see it.
Okay, then I'll email it to you, Mary.
I'm on my phone, so it's super.
Okay, yeah, then I email it to you. All right, everyone else, you got everything? Otherwise, email me. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Great to see you. I look forward to hopefully seeing you as a part of this cohort. Spread the message. Our flyers out. Email me anytime. I hope to do this work with you and get the message out there so we can get out there and support these kids. Thanks, y'all. Thanks so much. See you soon.